California Heartland is made possible by the James G. Boswell Foundation, committed to sharing the stories and successes of California growers. Bank of America, Bank of Opportunity.
Funding provided in part by the California Farm Bureau Federation, proud publishers of California Country magazine. More information is available at californiacountry.org. And by the Almond Board of California. California almonds, loved around the world, grown in California's heartland. And by Real California Milk. This seal ensures your favorite dairy brands are made exclusively with Real California Milk. More information at realcaliforniamilk.com.
We're actually out here doing something for other people and serving a purpose, opposed to just being locked up inside.
Meet inmates forging a future of protection one tree at a time. See how these inmates are building a new foundation for themselves and the state. Farm and family, the heritage of this California cattle company.
I like to play around. I like to chase the horses.
But business here is no child's play. We'll open the books on the living legacy at 5 Dot Ranch.
Go ahead and rub these between your palms for a natural deterrent for mosquitoes.
And the homegrown remedies of lavender right in your own backyard. Next on California Heartland. From your backyard to the back country, in a field or on your family table, it's all about what keeps California moving and growing. This is California Heartland.
In the late 1840s, the small Sierra Nevada town of Georgetown became the gateway to the gold rush, a place and time that changed California forever. 150 years later, that pioneering spirit is driving prospectors of another kind.
You know, the fact that, we are convicts and that we're actually out here doing something for other people and serving a purpose, opposed to just being locked up inside.
All right. To work.
These are the inmates of the Growlersburg Conservation Camp, today mining the forests for what makes fire burn.
There's been instances where we've had fires where we've already done clearing and we've gotten there, and instead of a raging inferno, we've been able to catch the fire and contain it.
Facility 25, Command 2.
Growlersburg is one of 43 inmate conservation camps up and down California. Camps dedicated to fighting fire and changing the landscape that often feeds the flames. Each year, they spend close to 7 million man-hours in the trenches cultivating this timberland, one of California's largest agricultural commodities. Corrections Officer Cynthia Carrington watched the mission play out back in mid-May when fire threatened the nearby mountain town of Pollock Pines.
I believe that our crews were the ones that saved Pollock Pines and that community by responding so quickly, and then the type of work that they do.
What they do is very selective work. Smaller trees are felled at the roots, and limbs are neatly pruned.
Well, the reason we limb them up is to keep the fire away from getting into the canopy. The overstories we call the canopy, and if we can limit up to walking height at least 10 feet, 6 to 10 feet, we keep the fire out of the canopy.
But this is where this story takes a turn. The Douglas firs, black oaks, and ponderosa pines culled from these forests live on. In some cases, they become picnic tables and benches, and they serve the public in parks throughout California. With equipment even the Sierra's first lumberjacks might find antiquated, inmates work with care and precision.
We're constantly fixing stuff, and everybody gets some hands-on training as far as that goes, and then the knowledge of learning how to run the machines, which is really dangerous. You don't just sustain a cut here, you lose a limb if you're not careful. So
the lumber comes from the forests they clear, and the finished product falls into place like a children's puzzle. And there's a respect among these craftsmen few inmates gave or received on the outside. Richard Thorstensen has been in and out of prison for 14 years.
I stay out of the table room. I have an agreement with the table room guy. That's his baby over there.
The collaboration is a success. There are cabinets and conference room tables and electronic consoles too. The quality is eye-popping. But you won't find this stuff in a furniture store. It's only available to government agencies, school districts, and parks.
Is there anything Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's office?
Not to my knowledge as of right now, but we would be more than happy to make anything that he would like.
Charles Ronaldus thinks he may have found his calling. It's something about the smell of the wood.
Right away, you can be looking the other way. They can be cutting something over here. Oh, yeah, that's oak. Oh, yeah, that's pine. Oh, that's a fir, you know?
This confluence of fate is feeding Mother Nature and the human soul.
There's 5 or 6 coming out of just this one plant here. That means they're going to give pretty good.
David Anzeldua grew every piece of produce his fellow inmates ate last year. $16,000 worth, they say. At 50 and a lifelong alcoholic, Anzeldua desperately wants to hang on to the inner peace this garden brings him.
I was really blessed for the last 3 years to know that you plant something, you watch it grow, and I really learned to appreciate things for the natural of it, you know. No more fast lane.
Drugs and alcohol are the demons that haunt most of these inmates. There are no sex offenders or violent criminals here. But at conservation camps like Growlersburg, the road runs in both directions. Jointly managed by CAL FIRE and the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, inmates earn their way into this program, and the people of California get highly trained firefighters to care for their forests.
You guys are getting a pretty good bang for your buck too, aren't you?
Absolutely. You know, the inmates are paid $1 an hour when they're actually on an incident. The cost effectiveness of that, you know, working in very difficult remote areas is astronomical.
It saves the taxpayers millions and millions of dollars, you know, as far as fuels reduction and preventing forest fires from spreading. We're assisting them in becoming productive citizens. They're not only working within the forestry, but I think that they're capable of going out and getting some gainful employment with other agencies.
For many, the High Sierra is worlds away from the life they once knew.
I grew up in the city, and this is by far different. I mean, it's beautiful up here.
34-year-old Mark Skubish found mostly trouble on the streets of Covina. But here, he's a leader among inmates, and Mother Nature is the unusual backdrop for redemption and renewal.
The camp program has opened up a lot of avenues for my future, as far as, you know, work and who I am now as a person. I had time to think about, you know, who I am and what I want to do with my life.
Who said potatoes have to be boring? Forget the russet bag of potatoes and start introducing different varieties of potatoes into your cooking. A few obvious additions to the spud family are sweet potatoes, red potatoes, and yams. And with so many delicious potatoes grown right here in California, it's no wonder you can whip up some great side dishes. Food and lifestyle expert Laura McIntosh is bringing it home with a fabulous 3-potato gratin.
Dana, let's talk about what you're doing right now.
Well, we're going to make a 3-potato gratin. Very simple dish. We have used sweet potatoes.
Yes.
The garnet yams, actually.
Yes.
We've used a Kennebec, and we're using a red potato.
Okay.
And we've sliced these and put them into water so that we could do that part of it ahead.
All right.
Which is really useful.
And notice, you guys, that the peels are still on the potatoes, so you don't need to peel your potatoes. Wash them real well just before you're ready to slice them. Put them in water and put them in the refrigerator.
So we're going to do a little bit of pepper.
Oh, great.
And a little bit of salt.
Okay.
And a little bit of cheese.
What kind of cheese are you using?
We're using an Asiago.
Oh, one of my favorite. I love Asiago cheese.
So we basically just repeat this layering process with a little bit of cream and a little bit of potato until it's done. And then you put it in the oven and bake it for about an hour.
Okay, about an hour. How many layers typically for, say, a party of 4?
It depends on the size of your baking dish. Once again, we're going to put probably 3 to 4 layers in here, and it will settle.
Oh, good.
As it bakes.
All right.
But that should be enough for 8 to 10 people.
One more layer. I think we can do it. There we go. Any potato that you wouldn't use?
Maybe the blue ones.
Yeah, maybe the blue ones. Okay. They're sliced really thin. You've done a nice job really slicing those. We have one in the oven that we're going to pull out and check and let you see what that looks like.
Okay, that is pretty much ready for the oven. We're going to go ahead and top that with a little bit of cream.
And away we go.
And away we go.
Remember, this is a little high, but it will fall a little bit. And that's what you want. Take a look at this, you guys. Oh, man. Are you happy?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Okay, that one is in. This one is out. Dana, this looks absolutely fantastic. Easy to do, and like you said, rich, right?
Very rich.
Very rich, but tasty. And remember, all these recipes are found on our website.
Hi, my name is Emily Noble. Hi, my name is Tommy Noble. Welcome to our California Heartland. Feeding them, watering them, getting the eggs, gathering them back in their coop. It's really fun, and you get to see how they grow and what do they look like when they're babies. Most of the time it can be fun and hard. You have to actually take care of them, like their favorite foods like watermelon, strawberry, popcorn, bread. And we actually didn't know that they could eat that. The black one, I like that one because it's like the boss of all the chickens, and it goes bah! Stuff like that to people. It's funny. Thank you for coming to our California Heartland. Bye.
When you think of ice cream, you probably think of cows, but it's time for them to move over. There's a new kid on the block. These Petaluma area goats are raised for their milk, but it's not for goat cheese. Their milk is the main ingredient for a healthier version of one of America's favorite desserts.
Goat milk is amazingly similar to mother's milk. So in nature, it's the most natural sort of thing that is meant for human consumption in terms of digestibility.
Laura Howard is co-owner of Leilu's Goat Milk Ice Cream, but she hasn't always been running with the goats. Following a successful Hollywood producing career, Laura wasn't fulfilled, so she up and moved to India to study yoga and begin living a healthier life.
I began a whole new quest for not eating anything that I couldn't pronounce and went on a cleanse which included no caffeine, no dairy, no alcohol for a year. And the dairy was the hardest part.
Goat's milk is permissible on a cleansing diet because it's easier to digest. So Laura began eating goat milk cheeses and yogurts, but she couldn't find her favorite dessert, ice cream.
There was nothing like goat milk ice cream on the market that I could find on the internet or at any store.
So she began experimenting in her kitchen until she came up with her own recipe.
Everybody just flipped and said, oh my God, this is amazing, and it's so low fat and it's so rich and creamy.
Only after discovering the slow food movement in Italy was she convinced that she should follow her dream. So they moved to Petaluma.
Petaluma is the center, basically, of the natural food revolution and the slow food movement, making, these really unique, really delicious, pure products from the land straight to the table.
Taking advice from other Sonoma County food producers and using only fresh, local ingredients and no preservatives, Laura started Leilu's 4 years ago.
So we'll have you meet with Casey
and today, business is booming. Gone are the days of Laura peddling her ice cream out of a truck. Now, using a co-op of goat farmers and teaming up with Whole Foods and other natural markets, Leilu's is available in more than 750 stores nationwide.
I follow my own palate for most of what I do, and I think I've just been incredibly fortunate and very lucky so far that the things that I like and have chosen to make, the public has also liked.
All the low-fat ice creams and the new frozen yogurts were developed right here in her home kitchen.
A little vanilla in this case.
Flavors like vanilla snowflake, brownie and Clyde, raspberry and deep chocolate, just to name a few.
What is that? Can you see?
Working at home gives Laura the opportunity to see her daughter throughout the day.
Okay.
And for her and her husband, the bucolic setting is the perfect place to raise a family.
My daughter, you know, as every 1 or 2 year old has, they all have books that have pictures of cows and horses and goats and chickens. And when my daughter sees the picture, she doesn't say chicken, she says capo, because that's the name of her chicken.
Bah.
Having this close connection to the land goes hand in hand with Laura's commitment to quality.
She has supported local farmers. She has created a product that didn't exist and has really stayed true to herself.
It's hard work, but it's mostly just fun. It's ice cream. How's it taste?
The roots of California's farming families grow deep. This is the heritage of our heartland.
Along this secluded road in the Sierra High Country, a family tradition dating back more than 150 years is still going strong. This is the heart and soul of the 5 Dot Ranch. The Swickard family has made this cattle ranch north of Susanville their home, their business, and their passion.
My name is Todd Swickard, and our family's been in the business in California since 1852, and I'm the 6th generation to be here.
I am Midge Swickard, Todd Swickard's mother. My husband, Jack, and I came up here in 1959 and settled on this ranch after leaving San Jose.
My name's Lori Swickard. I'm married to Todd Swickard, and I've been very blessed to be part of the 5 Dot operation for about 20 years now.
Over the years, they built a reputation raising open-range cattle, all natural, no hormones. But how the Swickards got here to Lassen County and where their business is headed is the real story.
Some of the family came across in wagon trains, some went across the Isthmus of Panama, and some went around the Cape Horn on the southern end of South America to get here.
The family settled in the Santa Clara Valley at this ranch near San Jose. A trail of deeds shows how the property was passed down to family members as the Swickards made a name for themselves in the agriculture business.
The most favorable conditions must have prevailed on Harvey Swickard's farm, for he certainly has made money raising hay and wheat.
But then came urban development. In 1948, a freeway split their beloved ranch in half. Over the next decade, they were surrounded by subdivisions and Silicon Valley.
Was it hard to give up the house in Santa Clara?
Not at all. I just wanted to leave.
So Midge and her husband Jack put out feelers and started looking when they got this brochure for a few thousand acres near Susanville.
How much is the price?
$56 an acre.
Still going for $56 an acre?
Not hardly.
Okay.
In 1959, the family drove up to take a look.
My mother and father-in-law were coming up to the Lake Tahoe area, so we said, go look at it while you're up there. And they came back and said they thought it had possibilities.
Did it ever? Little by little, they started hauling bits of their lives and their home to Susanville.
So these are from Santa Clara?
Yes, these are some of the old original Swickard family windows that we brought up.
Those old windows have since been replaced, but other memories from their home live on.
Two of the things that they brought were the bricks that you see here. These are the original bricks that were between my grandparents' and great-grandparents' house. It was the walkway there. And another interesting thing is the door here that's on the house was from the old original Swickard house, the door and hardware there that was built in the 1850s, and they brought that up, and then we adopted it into this house here.
This is the morning commute?
That's right.
Today, Todd Swickard is as ambitious as his father Jack, who at age 15 became one of the youngest breeders in the nation. Jack passed away in 2001.
I mean, he was very concerned about the stewardship of things, and so, you know, we try to take real good care of it, and kind of a motto in the industry is to leave it better for the next generation than we inherited it.
And now, the 7th generation of Swickards appears to be continuing the tradition. Logan is the youngest, at age 11.
Your father grew up on a ranch, or your grandfather did. Do you think you might want to do that?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's fun and you get to ride a lot.
Also part of the herd, 14-year-old Caitlin, 17-year-old Lindsay, and 19-year-old Kirby, who is studying agriculture and economics in college. She's already sizing up her office.
When we opened up the niche market in Napa, it really sparked my interest, the whole marketing aspect of it. So I think that's what I want to do, is come back and help my mom further that and make it, expand it.
You think Jack would approve of the way Todd's handling things?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yes. He'd be so proud of him. He'd also be proud of his daughter-in-law.
As the 5 Dot family tree continues to grow, so does the history behind the land.
Everyone's a farmer when it comes to their own backyard. Try these tips for doing it homegrown.
It's a common sight in Europe, rows of beautifully scented lavender. These plants grow wild in the Mediterranean, so it's no wonder that they've become a popular yet romantic landscape plant right here in California with our Mediterranean climate. There are lots of things to love about this plant. It's pest-free, it tolerates dry conditions, and even thrives on it. Look at the natural bush shape of it, and it's got this blue-green color, so it adds a little depth to your landscape. And then it sends out shoots of scented flowers that can be used for medicinal and herbal purposes for you and your pets. But what kind do we pick? So do you buy English, French, or Spanish lavender? Well, those names don't define the variety, just the country where you might find these type of plants. There are 3 types of lavender. One, an Augustifolia, or an English lavender plant. Think romantic cottage style. This is also great. The flowers can be used in cooking in the kitchen. The intermedia, or French lavender, think perfume. There's lots of oil in this plant. This makes a great dried flower and is used in all kinds of aromatherapy products. Then a Stoicus, or a Spanish lavender, not great in the kitchen as an herb, but what a fabulous blast of color in the landscape. You recognize the Spanish or Stoicus by its unique blossom, kind of like little rabbit ears at the tip of the blossom. Now, all of these plants need a little bit of pruning to look good. I think I'm going to go to work on this one. Now, one thing gardeners don't like about the plant is the straggly appearance it has after a couple of years. Well, it simply needs a haircut. We'd all look a little bit unkempt if we never got our hair trimmed. So you're going to go in and cut just about 2 inches below the stalk right into the leaves of the plant. You're going to continue to do this on each plant, and you've got these flowers, and then once this is done, it will be pruned for the next season. It will start to fill out for the rest of the summer and be ready to produce flowers, and you'll get more flowers next year by doing this at the end of the season this year. Now, this is a lot more efficient than cutting each and every flower spike, and as you can see, when it's done, it's a nice rounded shrub. And then we have these flowers, and I'm going to show you what to do with these next. This is my favorite part. Not only do we enjoy the lavender plants year-round in the garden, but we get to bring these scented flowers indoors. And I have just trimmed off the bottoms of the plant and the stalks we just took off of our prune plant. And you can tie them like this and leave them flat to dry, or you can clip them and go ahead and put them just like this into a vase, and they will dry naturally and provide scent for your house for the entire year. In some cases, like these, they've been providing scent for me for the last couple of years. You can also use these discarded stalks in the fireplace later in the winter. And then the dried florets, that's what we call it, the little dried flowers that come off of the lavender. Go ahead and rub these between your palms. Put them on you at sunset and your kids for a natural deterrent for mosquitoes. Also sprinkle some in the pet's bed and you won't find any fleas. So as you can see, the lavender is a full-service plant that not only old-fashioned but contemporary in any home or garden.
That's California Heartland. For more information on any of these stories, go to californiaheartland.org. I'm Chris Burrows. We'll see you next time.
California Heartland, thank you very much. We are delighted to have this.
To order a copy of this show, visit us online or call 1-888-814-3923. The cost is $14.95 plus shipping. California Heartland is made possible by the James G. Boswell Foundation, committed to sharing the stories and successes of California growers. Bank of America, Bank of Opportunity.
Funding provided in part by the California Farm Bureau Federation, proud publishers of California Country magazine. More information is available at californiacountry.org. And by the Almond Board of California. California almonds, loved around the world, grown in California's heartland. And by Real California Milk. This seal ensures your favorite dairy brands are made exclusively with Real California Milk. More information at realcaliforniamilk.com.